cake. This is a 2-tier wedding cake, and I really wanted to walk you through each step because I feel like I haven't really done that in a while. Technically, it's a wedding reception cake because this couple eloped and I made them a little heart cake just for their elopement, and now they're having a big reception, so they wanted a bigger version of that cake to share with their friends and family. So without further ado, this is a lemon cake with strawberry filling and lemon buttercream frosting. The bottom tier goes on to the cake board itself, and you can see I'm making a little dam for each layer for the filling, and I'm sealing it off. I also always squat down between adding each layer to make sure that they're all even and one's not poking out. I try to always frost my cake layers frozen because it's easier, but especially if it has a fruit filling, I frost it frozen. That is a tongue twister. That is so the buttercream firms up faster and that filling has less of a chance to spill out the sides. Here you can see I'm doing the top tier, and you'll see there are 2 boards involved here. I have the base board, and then I have a small board that's the exact same size as the cake layers. That board gets completely swallowed by frosting and is very important to the structural integrity of this cake. The crumb coat is very important, this first coat of frosting that I'm doing, because it locks in all the crumbs to that first layer, and the final coat is where you get that really smooth, perfect layer of frosting with no cake showing through. You have to refrigerate the cake until that crumb coat is firm before you can do the final coat. For structural support, I use straws, but it's super thick plastic and they're built to be for cakes, not just for like drinking straws, so they can hold a lot of weight. I'm cutting them to be the exact same height as that bottom tier. So now when you stack the cake, that cardboard that's under the top layer is still in there. My hand is touching the cardboard, not the actual cake. So the straws are holding up the cardboard, and that way there's not actually a lot of weight that's on the bottom tier. And if you didn't have those structural supports in there, once the cake came up to room temperature as it was sitting out, it would all just collapse under its own weight, basically. So that cardboard rests on the straws. Hopefully that makes sense. And then you could see I also had a pointy wooden dowel that goes through the whole cake and sticks into the board. Okay, I have to catch up to the video. All cakes have a back. You're gonna find the side that looks the worst. That's the back. You're going to start making your circle cookie cutter indents at the back to space out your swags. That way, if the cookie cutter isn't the perfect size and one swag ends up being a little bit bigger or smaller, it's on the back, so it's okay. I know there are specific piping tips for ruffles, but I've always really just preferred a really thin petal tip, so this tip I'm using is a Korean piping tip. I ordered these so long ago that I can't find the company that made them, but I will put the numbers of the tips that I have on the screen. This was a white vintage design with light dusty blue accents, and I just think these colors are so beautiful together. So vintage. It's giving Cinderella a little bit. I didn't make enough indents in the top tier because I didn't know exactly what I was going to end up doing design-wise, so if you don't have circular cookie cutters or glasses, you can just kind of mark the high points and the low points and use that as a guide also. Sometimes with vintage designs, I do a really clean floating straight line across the whole cake. And if you have a really nice smooth turntable, you can just hold a little toothpick or a spatula while you turn it, and then you kind of get a really even straight guide. But this only works if you have a super smooth turntable. Under every video, I get at least a couple comments asking for my buttercream frosting recipe, and I posted it a couple years ago, and I finally just took the time to find it and pin it on my profile, so it's pinned. There is no gatekeeping on this page. You're welcome. I understand why groom's cakes are kind of outdated because not every marriage has a husband and a wife, and sometimes couples just agree on one cake design and they just both like it. But if you're into it, I think it's really fun. So this couple did this exact same cake for the groom's cake, except it was all chocolate. They look stunning next to each other, and I will be posting that, and I'm very excited about it. When it comes to these final accent shells, sometimes I do them right side up, and on this one I did them upside down, and honestly, it just depends on how I'm feeling that day, and there's no other rhyme or reason to it. On this couple's original small elopement cake, they had me write "just married" on it, so I did the same for this 2-tier cake, even though it doesn't really have the same effect on a tall cake. That's okay, I get it. Writing is fun no matter what. I would have loved to put cherries on this cake, but I understand that's not the vibe they're going for. It's okay. Here's a sneak peek of the chocolate cake. Bye!